Once upon a time there was a brave knight named Sir Gallant who lived in a faraway kingdom. Sir Gallant was the most courageous and noble knight in all the land. He had jet black hair and dazzling green eyes and was admired throughout the kingdom for his strength, skill and compassion. One morning, as Sir Gallant was polishing his sword, a frantic knock came at his door. It was a frightened young boy from the village. "Sir Gallant," cried the boy, "our village is in terrible danger. An evil dragon has been spotted in the hills nearby. We need your help." Sir Gallant calmly sheathed his sword. "Do not worry, young one," he said gently. "I will protect this village." The brave knight mounted his noble steed and galloped off towards the hills. As he approached the dragon's lair, he could hear the beast's terrible roars. The dragon was an awful sight, over 20 feet tall with red scales, enormous wings and claws as sharp as daggers. But Sir Gallant was not afraid. Gripping his sword tightly, he confronted the furious dragon. The dragon unleashed its fiery breath, but Sir Gallant skillfully dodged the blast and charged at the beast. He swung his mighty sword, striking the dragon's thick hide again and again. The dragon fought back, slamming Sir Gallant with its spiked tail. Yet the brave knight persisted, never giving up. Finally, with one last forceful thrust, Sir Gallant's sword pierced the dragon's heart. The beast let out a terrible shriek before collapsing to the ground. Victorious, the courageous knight sheathed his sword and rode back to the village to deliver the joyous news. He was greeted with a hero's welcome, the people cheered, sang and feasted in his honor. From that day on, Sir Gallant went on many more adventures, facing obstacles with bravery. He journeyed to distant lands, battled evil sorcerers and rescued damsels in distress. No challenge was too difficult for the valiant and pure-hearted knight. He became known across all the kingdom as a true hero and protector of the weak. One morning, as Sir Gallant got ready to face another day of danger and excitement, something very peculiar happened. A magical book with a glowing cover and sparkling pages appeared in his room out of nowhere. Full of curiosity, he opened the book and was sucked into a portal that transported him to a completely different world, a vibrant land populated by the most wondrous creatures like fairies, elves and unicorns. Sir Gallant could hardly believe his eyes. This new world was extraordinary, even more incredible than he could have ever imagined. Lush green forests were inhabited by wise old trees that could talk. Babbling brooks flowed beside fields of flowers that sang melodic songs. The skies were always bright and rainbows arched overhead. Everywhere Sir Gallant went, he was warmly greeted by the most marvelous beings. The brave knight explored this new land with great enthusiasm, eagerness, and joy. He forged friendships with the unicorns, fairies, and elves, learning their customs and histories. Over time, he discovered that an evil force lurked in the shadows of this otherwise idyllic world, a wicked sorcerer who sought to cover the land in darkness. Sir Gallant knew it was his duty to defeat this new villain. After an epic battle against the shadowy sorcerer, Sir Gallant emerged victorious once again. The magical creatures rejoiced and celebrated their new hero. But Sir Gallant knew he could not stay in this extraordinary land forever, as much as he desired to. His true home and duties were back in the kingdom he had sworn to serve and protect. With a bittersweet goodbye to all his new friends, Sir Gallant stepped back through the portal, returning to his world changed and enlightened by his marvelous journey. Back in his own familiar land, the noble knight found renewed purpose. He saw the world around him with open eyes and an open heart, ready to face every challenge with courage, wisdom, and compassion. Sir Gallant went on to have many more thrilling adventures, but never forgot the extraordinary things he had seen and learned in that magical realm. He kept the spirit of that fantastical world alive in his imagination and in his soul. Though he lived in the ordinary world, Sir Gallant carried the magic with him forevermore. Once upon a time in a magical forest, there lived a family of unicorns. There was Mother Unicorn, Father Unicorn, and their 2 children, a young colt named Starlight and a filly named Moonbeam. The unicorn family lived happily in their forest home, spending their days frolicking in the meadows and splashing in the streams. At night, they would gather around and tell stories or gaze up at the stars. One night, as the unicorns were settling down to sleep, Father Unicorn remembered an old legend that had been passed down for generations. He told his family that somewhere in the forest, there was hidden treasure. But no unicorn had been able to find it in over 100 years. The next morning, Starlight and Moonbeam were eager to start searching for the treasure. After eating a quick breakfast of stardust porridge, the little unicorns set off on their quest into the deepest parts of the forest. They searched high and low, looking behind every bush and every tree. They inspected every nook in the ancient stone walls that bordered parts of the forest. They even climbed to the tops of the waterfalls to see if the treasure was hidden in the rainbows in the mist. After hours of searching, the little unicorns started to lose hope. Just as they were about to give up, Moonbeam spotted something shiny behind a moss-covered log. She pushed the log aside with her horn and gasped. There was an entrance to a hidden cave. This must be where the unicorn treasure was kept. Starlight and Moonbeam called for their parents, and together, the unicorn family descended into the cave, their horns lighting the way. As they ventured deeper into the cave, the air grew cooler and damper. Drips of water echoed as they hit the floor. The unicorns stayed close together, wary of any creatures that may lurk in the darkness. Finally, the cave opened up into a gigantic cavern. The unicorn family gazed around in awe. The walls and ceilings glimmered with crystals of all colors. In the very back of the cavern was a giant treasure chest. The unicorns crowded around as Father Unicorn slowly opened the chest. Inside, there were mounds of glittering gems and jewels. Emeralds, sapphires, rubies and diamonds twinkled in the light cast by the unicorn's horns. "The unicorn treasure is real," cried Moonbeam. The unicorns happily loaded up bags of treasure to bring back to their forest home. Their quest was a success. But as the unicorns turned to leave, they heard a low rumbling growl. Out of the shadows crept a fearsome dragon. Its green scales glimmered as it spread its gigantic wings and blocked the exit to the cavern. The unicorns cowered in fear. The dragon spoke in a booming voice, "Who dares take treasure from my cave? This wealth is mine to protect." Father Unicorn bravely stepped forward. "Please forgive us, great dragon. We did not know this was your cave. We are unicorns from the forest, searching for lost treasure." The dragon eyed them suspiciously. "Many thieves and scoundrels have tried to steal my riches over the years. How do I know you are not like them?" Starlight came forward and said, "O dragon, unicorns would never be dishonest. Please let us prove it to you." He used his magic horn to levitate a perfect ruby into the air. The ruby floated gently over to the dragon and landed right at its feet. The dragon was surprised by the unicorn's kindness and honesty. He gave a low rumbling chuckle. "You unicorns are indeed noble and true. You may take a small amount of treasure, as a reward for this fine quest." The unicorns thanked the dragon sincerely. They took a few choice pieces of treasure and placed them in their bags. Then the dragon moved aside so they could safely pass. As the unicorn family exited the cave, Father Unicorn turned back and said, "Thank you, dragon. We will never forget your generosity." The dragon nodded kindly in return. He knew the unicorns would keep the secret cave safe. As the unicorns returned home, they felt their hearts swelling with pride over completing such a special quest. The little unicorns danced around, admiring their gemstones and jewels. That night, the family gathered together again and gazed up at the night sky. The stars seemed to twinkle just a little brighter, as if they were winking at the unicorns in congratulations. Together, the unicorn family made a promise to keep the treasure safe and only use it for good. They would remember this magical quest for the rest of their lives.